Hey, sorry guys, I don't know what happened there. I just dropped out and I couldn't seem to get back. So I really apologize for that. I can still see chat, so I'm up to date on that. I'm up to date on the chat, but I'm not sure what happened. It doesn't happen very often, to be honest. That's the first time I think it's ever happened that we've dropped out. But I'm back. So here we go. Where were we? Technology was awesome. What's next? Gosh. Um, yeah, no one's done anything wrong. We just kind of dropped out and I don't know why, and I didn't realise for a bit. Anyway, Oilers and Pistons. Remember to like the video again. It's a bit of a pain doing this. I don't like to do it because the link's shared everywhere and people can't find it. Anyway, yeah. So this is the main steam delivery, right? And this check valve here stops the steam coming back into the oil pump, which is here and here, and that's driven from this eccentric. And basically that sends a measured drip of oil. It's not very much because it's only about half a stroke every turn of the wheels into the cylinders to keep everything lubricated. Everything else is just done with an oil can. So that's how steam locomotives work, unless you kind of state-of-the-art stuff. Anyway, shopping. That's another weekend in that, and then I might do a video about it, but I haven't really filmed a lot of it. I've kind of... Yeah, that's why I haven't filmed a lot of this, and I'm going to say that now. Hey, Craig. Hey, Gary. The reason is that I listened to the Home Shop Machinist podcast on Saturday or Sunday or whenever it hit. Awesome shout out about the competition in there. They're great guys. Go and check them out. And if you've got a commute or something, then you probably should be listening to that. Also following the guys on Instagram because Justin's building a Curta calculator, which, yeah, I'm going to be surprised if he gets it finished. I'm going to be honest about that. It's a mean thing to say, but it's a big job. It's a bigger job than this locomotive even. It's crazy, but it's going to be fun. So check him out on Instagram because he's posting a lot of updates there, even if he's not making videos. Stefan, of course, is sort of a fixture. And if you watch my tool making competition video, he's actually donated a prize. I think he thinks that gets him out of entering, but we'll see about that. I put a little bit of pressure on him about that, but he's sort of in moderation. He's got 3 months. Yes, CNC is absolutely allowed. You make it and you explain it and you make the video watchable. A lot of people don't, but you can make anything. I don't care if you make paintbrushes or copper funnels, or actually you should go and watch my very poor copper funnel video because it's actually one of the best videos I've ever made as far as views go, but it's a long time ago. I should do another one. Stefan's not a competition guy, but we'll try again. He's not a deadlines guy when he's got so much else happening, I think. Adventures with a very small lathe says, I was filming my tool making competition the weekend and I screwed up pretty badly. Should I? A, scrap it and start again in the hope I can still win the craftsmanship prize. Okay, there's got to be another option, because that's B, carry on and use the mistakes to educate. That's the way we do it. What's C? Craig says he doesn't believe it. Yeah, I believe it. Stefan builds stuff in his workshop. He's a his official title, I think, is a millwright for a crazy big German electrical company that we all know. And he does prototype stuff, and he does prototype stuff at home for smaller companies. But yeah, I think Alistair, you know what's best. You make the best videos. I mean, we're not going to give you any tips. You've got an unfair advantage already. So yeah, you work it out. Stefan's, this is why you should support him on Patreon or whatever. If he ever makes a tool or a t-shirt or something like that, you should all buy one, because the only way you're ever going to get videos of the qualities he makes out of someone like him is if there's some sort of incentive to make videos. And if life's too short, they just don't happen. And that's why we don't keep Robin Renzetti videos or Tom Lipton videos, is because life is just too short. And go and support those guys, because guilt them into making videos, because it helps all of us. Anyway, that's where we're at with that. He just doesn't want to embarrass people. He mightn't have what it takes. I mean, there's some good videos. And we've had our share of time machines, and Andy Ash's amazing video about turning what appeared to be a microwave oven into a device for turning plastic into metal. That was a good try, but anyway, it's the Jedi way. That's right. Anyway, I haven't seen any toolmaker competition videos yet that are within the parameters. And you've got time, but it's not a bad idea to start now, because there's a lot of work in making that video. If you're going to actually enter and come out of it with a chance, you're going to need to start now. Sorry. Yeah, I have that problem, Mats. I can get to work now, but I've had parcels that were coming to work that have been almost impossible to find, and I don't know what's happened to them. I don't know where they are, because work hasn't been open all the time. So look forward to seeing what everyone brings up, because you will. I know there's going to be some cool stuff. Absolutely. I went marketplace shopping. I need to keep off the marketplace. This is where we're at with this. I need to really not go to the marketplace on Facebook. A box, yeah. This is one of a few boxes. This is a micrometer, and it's an odd size. It's not really an odd size, and it will get used, and it's first of many, I think. But it was the right price. as the internal micrometer, and it's been looked after pretty much, and the ring gauge is pretty nice. It is metric, and I'd like a whole set of them. That's the test ring for it. It's actually got the 2 O-rings still in there, and it's got 2 sets of jaws, so it's got, actually you read it with 2 different measurements, so 37 to 43 on this side, and oh, come on, focus, seriously, 45 to 51 on this side, so you change the jaws out and they screw in and out, so it's all nicely calibrated and everything. It's spot on. That one is a Bowers, which is actually the scientific branch of Moore and Wright in England. If you see Bowers stuff, grab it because it's pretty good. Bowers International Gauge Co. I've got a couple of theirs and they're nice gear. But yeah, they're part of the Moore and Wright group. That's always the way, Matt. Welcome to Machining on a Deadline for YouTube. Anyway, that was the first thing. I bought that. I went chasing this, and then I ended up, right, this is where it got sticky. Ended up buying this box. I'd love a set of those. They are nice, and Kevin, yes, I'd love a set of them, but they get expensive, and I'll eventually find the whole set at the right price, but at this point. So, wooden box. Now, what appears to be in this box isn't actually in my box. These are all boride die maker stones. They're all different grits, and for finishing work they're amazing. I sort of kind of like them better than files for a lot of work. They're a bit more what do you say? Yeah, for finishing metal parts, and especially hard metal parts, these are a lot nicer than files. I've got a range of files, but for hardened tool parts, when I haven't got a surface grinder or anything like that, these are the answer. They're in all grits from like EDM, which is a really, really coarse one for taking the wire cuts off the edge of EDM, like these. They're 180 grit. To this box, which is 1200. There's a few in there at 1200, and they're crazy fine. So pick those up. They aren't cheap. If you were to buy these stones on the open market from Borard, which is an American company, and I've got a few. This is a box of them that I brought back from the summer bash, and I've got a couple of boxes of them there. Just looking at them, they're 800 grit. So if you went to buy these, they'd be about $30 each, I reckon, per stone. And the chances of anyone like me going and buying a a box of 3 8x6 round stones in 220 grit, because there's some EDMs in there actually, which is a really coarse one. It's just not going to happen. And I bought some at the Summer Bash, and I distributed them about a little bit too. I think some people have those. They also, he had some handmade handles, which are a really awesome idea. They're just a nylon or some sort of engineering plastic screwed together to clamp down on them. That's a pretty cool idea. Had not seen them, but there's 2 of those there, and I might make a round one as well and a triangle shaped one. We'll think about that. So anyway, I have a box of stones, which I've been kind of keen to buy more of, and I've been looking out for them, but this was a score. They weren't cheap, but there's enough there to last me a little while, I think. I'm very unlikely to ever buy another boride stone again in my life. They're all different hardnesses, I think, depending on the grit. There's a few different grades of them and different materials. They're all over the show. You've really got to know what you're buying, or what. I'm going to have to do a little bit of research with them, but they're kind of a bit hard to find. So get what you can and experiment with them. But they do clog up, and you get cross-contamination if you're not careful, and you end up with scratches if you're really fussy. Garden hoses and chainsaws. Anyway, that was on Facebook Marketplace. While I was there, you said, do you want any reamers? Yeah, lots of ute toolboxes, Tom. That's right. Do you want any reamers? So I'm like, what sort of reamers you got and how much are they? I don't really want to spend much more money than I've already spent, because I kind of, hurting me again anyway. It takes me back, was it? But don't go there. Right. So these are in various states of repair, but they're all carbide. So they were kind of too good to leave there. I think I paid $50 for this box of reamers. So yeah, the difference is, Tom, is that my stuff's good, and C-Tools, you're not sure until you get it. I have been called Mr. Pete once this week, so don't go there. Anyway, carbide reamers these are all metric, and they're all industrial reamers, so they've all got the tolerances on them. So most of them are H7, which is a pretty good fit for pressing dowel pins, things like that. So a lot of them are a little bit undersized, some of them are a bit oversized, some of them are right on, some of them have been used. We can always use new carbide, solid carbide. So if we've got to trash them, we're still in front at the price I paid. That's the way I'm thinking about it, or trying to. That's actually a broken boring bar. I'm still thinking about that as a project, so bear with us on that. I'm not sure what else is in here. I didn't really even look. That looks like another miniature boring bar that's probably still all right, or it might be shattered or broken. Haven't really even had a look, to be honest. I've been kind of snowed under this weekend. There's a carbide insert, which I just dropped one off. Yeah, look, there's a broken boring bar. How sad is that? That's a solid carbide boring bar, and it's snapped. So that's a bit unhappy. It's all there with 3 inserts, but it's snapped. So don't know if that's even fixable. It's also got an air feed hole through the middle of it and all that sort of stuff. It hurts when you see expensive tooling like that that's had hard life. And there's that other insert. So I don't know if that's fixable. I mean, I really don't think I can make another holder for it, maybe. I'm sort of thinking about that. There's a couple of those that are very similar state of repair. This one too. They were sort of thrown in. And that's a bigger one. It's a bit harsh. I don't like to see that because that was a fairly expensive boring bar, I would say. Way out of my price range. Way out of my price range. So we've got some comments. I think Adam Carmichael's probably been to Sea Tool Supply Warehouse too, Tom. If you get it, yeah, his packaging isn't particularly good either. Just when there's some questions there. What's the best way to buy reamers, I guess, in set or individual as needed? Buy them individual and buy the best you can. Chinese reamers are all right for one-off jobs, probably. I find that the steel that I use tends to get harder as I go. So good reamers are good. Carbide's nice, but and you could buy reamers in about 4 or 5 different tolerances, different fits, things like that. So you really buying a set of reamers and then you don't really have the ideal one for the job anyway. I don't know. I guess in an ideal world, you probably want to put some money aside and have them there for when you need them and a supplier that you can buy them off. But I don't know if that actually exists. You could grind a shoulder on it and braze it in another holder, might work too with those. Anyway, a nice carbide dowel pin's good. I'm not worried about the coolant hole at this point. The set over and under is great, yeah. Adjustable reamers are okay, and I have enough of them. And for some work, they're great if you're fitting 2 parts together. But in reality, you're better off with an over and under set. Is probably the best for precise work. But yeah, if you touch it on the bottom, or you're right, even a high-spec reamer will cut different sizes depending on the material. John's right. It's a matter of trying something until you get it to work. And then doing the job with it and hoping it's the same. If you want really accurate work, bore it, I guess. But these are metric mostly, and they're specified. John, this one's I think it's probably a 10mm, and it's specified H7. I'd have to look up that tolerance, but that's generally how metric ones are toleranced, I think. So anyway, that's my weekend. There was a couple of other boxes in there that I don't think he thought he included. Not sure this is much use to me, but that's a nearly brand new 14mm. It probably is a brand new 14mm number 1 Morse taper shank drill. And this one here was in it too, which is M16 gun tap, which I may or may not use at some point. Adam's probably right. 10H7 will be between 10 and 10.015. Black Book has that chart in it, and that's usually what I do rather than memorize it, is just look it up. And these are from about 1.5mm through to about 10, 12mm. So there's some good stuff there, and the ones that aren't are carbide we can make something else out of, or whatever, I think. That's where I'm at with that. All right, that's my shopping for the weekend. He also threw these in. Now, if anyone has a project for these, here we go. Here's an opportunity for everyone. These are oil-filled buffers, I think, dampers. And they're adjustable. And they're in nice holders that someone's made, but they just screw in and then they adjust here, and then they're adjustable pressure. And there's 2 of them. They're both the same way around on the holders, so they're not much good for anything really. But if anyone has a project that this would go to, drop me an email. Or if you can think of a project for me to make that I could use them for, drop me an email. I post these to someone. They're not much good to me. Have a think about it. They're probably quite high spec, fairly expensive bits of gear. But it probably is, could be a stepper motor mount. It's probably just screwed on something. Don't know. But if you've got any ideas, oh, where's it? Have an application for that. That's cool. Thanks, Adam. Are they SMC? I've got seriously no idea what they are. They are marked. Hang on. They're marked Anodyne OEM 0.5 MB. I don't know what that means. Anyway, they're sitting here in a box. If someone's got a project for them, jump up and down and let me know. This is the sort of junk I don't need. But anyway. don't know if there's anything else much that's really happened that's exciting. I haven't. Last week was a little bit embarrassing as far as live stream goes, and I apologise for that. Take care, Chirpy. Have some sleep before you got to get up again. Take care. Well, you'd think it was OEM, but I don't know what that means on that particular application. Last week was a bit embarrassing because I pulled out a lot of old projects that I haven't really looked at for a long time, and I didn't even get to the bottom of the list, but I counted about 10. So I really need to get in and finish some of these things. And there's 2 or 3 things that I didn't even pull out. So we need to actually do some work and get some of these things finished. So, yeah, the unfinished project thing is getting a bit dire. I had some mail today. How cool is that? Where did I put my mail? I got it out to show you. Hang on, I'll find the mail. No, I didn't get it out. I got mail. Colin Creed Tattooing sent this, which is really awesome because I get some things finished, but not very many. This little knurling tool, which will actually fit my tool holders, which is pretty awesome. Not tried it yet, but it looks like a pretty good tool. And really big thanks, Colin, if you actually watch this, or if you've lasted this long, if you were watching it. That's awesome. That came in the mail today. That's quite a well-made looking thing. It's probably much better than the one that I had. Not a lot of play or anything in it. It looks pretty good. So that'll be good in the little multi-fix. That'll be excellent. And I haven't really even... I unboxed it this morning at work. That's about as far as I got. This one here doesn't have a return address on it, but I was talking to a gentleman who posted these. So as far as I know, these are the first of these stickers that I've seen anywhere. Someone else may actually have one, but I'm feeling a bit privileged because this is the first one I've seen. So if you have a look at Mark Presling on YouTube, awesome guy. He's up the coast a bit further between me and Clickspring. He does some awesome stuff. His stuff on parts finishing and that sort of thing are excellent, his last videos. So new stickers from him. Big thanks, Presso. I really appreciate that. And that's the first I've seen them. So there you go. You saw him first here. But go and check him out because he's awesome and he's a nice guy. Now, he also... I feel pretty special about this. Sent this bag of stuff. Which way is up the coast? Half serious question. Up the coast is towards New Guinea, that direction, rather than down the coast, which is towards Mati. Up the coast is about 3-4 hours away on the other side of the city. Probably more than that, 4 or 5 hours away. Click Spring's about 7 or 8, 9 hours away, something like that by car. So north's up. Anyway, he sent these, and these are Cratex tips, which is abrasive impregnated rubber. Sorry. Hold on, Lava. Good to see ya. Sunny Colorado. I'm sorry about that. Up is north. So, yeah, north up the coast. We're on the east side of Australia. So, north is towards the Cape and towards New Guinea, that direction. Down the coast would be towards Mati, which is probably as far in the other direction. Anyway, he sent some Cratex points, which are kind of like rocking horse dung here in Australia. So I'm excited to have a bit of a mess around with them. So score. Cratex is crazy hard to get here in Australia too, just quietly. Craig's a lot further south than that, or further down the coast, but there's a bit of a gap in between that's called Bass Strait, which is right in the middle of the Roaring Forties, and it's a pretty rough bit of... I reckon there's room... No one gets offended, but I reckon there's room on this sticker board here for Presso sticker. I was going to put it over on the other one with some of the later ones. Let's mix it up and put it on this board. Whereabouts? I reckon you could go there. It's in pretty good company. MSC do list a few different styles, but they're kind of hard to get overseas. Anyway, that was today's mail, so that's pretty exciting. Another shout out I said I'd do for you Australian guys. Last night, oh my gosh. Oh, thanks, Craig. I'm going to check that out. Oh, you can get it in the US anywhere. Now, Marcus Christensen Machine Works here on the coast has bought out a guy's workshop. And in that workshop, there's lengths and lengths and lengths and lengths of brass and aluminium and steel bar. Sorry about the noise. So I was down there last night and picked up some goodies. I try not to drop that on any of this stuff here. But Christensen Machine Works. He's on Facebook. Probably the best way to contact him, or give him a call, or have a bit of a look. Probably on Instagram. He's on Instagram too. They've got miles of this stuff. That's bronze, bearing bronze, and that one is too. By the peeled finish, I reckon that's bearing bronze. So they're kind of good. There's a lot of hex and a lot of round, all different sizes. A lot of square, that sort of thing. And bronze up to sort of 50mm diameter, and hollows and all that sort of stuff. And he'll cut it to length. So if you're interested in a one-off sort of a situation to buy a box load of bronze and brass and aluminium, and that's aluminium. I don't know what it is. I reckon it's that free machining stuff. It's not shiny enough on the outside to be anything much good. It'd probably machine really nice. So if you're in the mood to spend some money on some materials at the right price, hit him up, because he's shipping and they've got miles of it, and they're cutting it and posting it out. Craig, I'll send you a link. So yeah, Adam says send him a fax. That usually works. I don't think he has. I think he's got a mobile phone now, but I'm not really sure. So anyway, I've picked some of this up for a couple of friends, and that's ready to go in the post. But there's a couple of kilos there that I got that can go in my materials drawer, and that'd be great. And there are some bigger sizes too that might be helpful. But Christensen Machine Works, I don't think they've got a website or anything like that. If someone's got a telephone number for him, maybe they could put that in the chat, or somewhere where we can find it. But he's a great guy, and he's easy to deal with, and they'll cut it to whatever lengths and post it to you. I don't reckon they're going to send it. Well, he might send some to New Zealand. He's pretty good like that. We sent a stack load of tools to Matthew Look in England a couple of years ago, me and Marcus. So I don't think it'd be out of the question. So hit him up. Kevin, go and check him out, because I don't imagine it's particularly expensive to post, and if you haven't got any local sources, it's probably worth the effort. Don't know, it could be. We sort of thought maybe it's that, what's the free machining one? It's got a sort of a grainy finish rather than a milled finish rather than a shiny finish. And it seemed pretty soft when we were cutting it with the saw. But he's worth checking out, because there's a lot of steel and a lot of engineering plastic stuff like that there as well, that they're listing a bit at a time. So when it comes up, grab it. Grab a box now. And grab a box in another month, because there'll be a different range of stuff. But once it's gone, I think. We could do a Mr. Pete and light it, I guess, but I'm not really up for that. I'm not a firebug. Yeah, it could be magnesium. I don't know. I don't think it is. It's a different color, really. That's more the color of lead, whereas this is... Anyway, I'm not going to light it and see. Okay? John, you've got another bit too. You can tell us, because I'm sending you a piece as well. Anyway, I said I'd give him a shout out because he was pretty helpful to me the other than last night, and he's a great friend and he's a nice guy. He also runs the scraping class here, so he's kind of pretty good with machinery. But there's about probably 3 or 4 ton of brass there and nearly as much aluminium, and there's probably as much again, but not in weight, in engineering plastics of various types. So once they work out what it is, I guess they'll list it and sell it. But this is Christensen Machine Works, CHRIS Christensen Machine Works. If Adam's there, maybe you could put up the post some details. Christensen Machine Works, that's the one. You got it, Craig. He's on Facebook and I think he's on Instagram, but he's not particularly technological. He's the 20-year-old equivalent of Richard King. There we go, 229 Teree Street, Burleigh Heads. That's him, Queensland. And Adam's got a telephone number, so give him a call sometime. That's the easiest. That'll be the best and quickest way to deal with it. The home line number will be the best way to deal with him. But he's a good guy. And you may not know exactly what this is. It all looks like pretty soft brass to me. But it's good stock and it's worth having. Did anyone see Mr. Pete's video this week? Speaking of arsonists, when he actually burned some magnesium. JB says, sorry he missed the stream. Oh my gosh, the jolly rap music thing. And people, yeah, Mr. Pete's got some really good videos from lockdown. It's pretty good. I like it when he just talks because you can listen to him in person. You can listen to him for hours. But yeah, he doesn't like being locked up at home, even though he probably never goes anywhere except to clearance sales. Anyway, it's good that he's making videos and it's good that they're watchable. That's good. So I don't know if there's much else to say. I don't know. I'm just sort of. Oh, there's JB. I don't know if there's much else to say or there's much else to really cover. I'd show you my lathe, but I've left the chuck key in over there, so I probably can't do that. I did get this piece to make the roller, and hopefully I'll get onto that when I've done the pump. So this is for the belt pulley for the overhead drive. That's the next part of the tool making of the thread cutting attachment. So I've got stock and jobs here everywhere, but no real incentive to do much at the moment, to be honest. I've got enough wheels to make a cast iron skateboard. That's very true. Can we repost Ted? Now Ted Rose has a new channel. His subject matter is a bit dry. I don't know why everyone's dragging that so much, but obviously people watch it. But I'm kidding you, Ted. Go and have a look at his video. It's interesting to see what he's doing. Now, speaking of projects that I've actually finished, is this little indicator holder, which I actually have a couple of projects lined up that I'm going to need this for. So there's a few of these being made. At the top of the list there's Max. This is probably going to turn out nicer than Stefan's, which was the original one. Yeah, I don't think it's rusty yet. Made me look, but no, it's not rusty yet. There's been some pretty good builds, and everyone's really put some effort into this, which is really nice. Craig, we all need equipment. Max's is beautiful. Matty's workshop looks really good. He's done a nice job of that. Craig's has started. I don't know how that's going. Kevin's looks like it's going to turn out really nice. Ted's looks like it's going to turn out pretty good. Who else had one? Matt Peterson sent me some pictures. It's turned out pretty good. Look, when you get one made, send me some pictures, and we will make a video about all the different ones. Just a shout out sort of a video with some pictures, rather than be we're not going to pitch one against the other. You've got a tool making competition to enter for that. And if you make a box for it, anyone, show us pictures of the box, or show us some sort of details of the box, because I've drawn a bit of a blank on that. It's a very easy tool to get functional. I will give it that. Getting it pretty is a bit more work. But excited to see them come through. Gary, I think, said that he was staggering the views of the videos a bit. I'm sort of trying to do that. I'm only watching about one a day, so if I haven't seen your latest video or commented on it, I generally try to comment on videos that I watch. So if you haven't got a comment, I probably haven't seen it, and it's probably because I am staggering them a bit. The challenging fun part, Mats, is to make things pretty. That's the difficult job, and that's what I struggle with most of all, but hopefully we'll get to the top of that. But having said that, if this tool is made to the very, very basic instructions, it's still going to be pretty. It's a pretty design. I'll give it that. So there you go. He's everybody's Uncle Raymond. I've got a job I'm doing for Bruce, and I really don't know if I'm good enough to do it. I'm struggling a bit with it, actually. I'm sort of thinking I'm just going to put body filler in it and be done with it. The drawings are pretty exacting, but they don't need to be anywhere near that good. Craig, just so you know, if you've got two parts that fit together, it doesn't matter how big they are, and someone on the other side of the video is not going to have a clue. So just make it. Did I say that? It's true. I very foolishly said I would restore this sign for Bruce. You just lied to us, Craig. I don't think I even got to be honest, I don't think I even got the whole chance to back out of this. I think you just posted it and then asked me about it. But this sign was on an industrial installation out in the desert somewhere in Australia. Usually if I say I'll do something for you or offer to do something, it eventually gets done. But this one was just sort of a landed here and get it fixed thing. But I have brazed up some of the holes in it. There was not too many bullet holes in it. I think they're probably shotgun holes. And I've brazed up most of them. And it's I've put some undercoat on it, but it's going to need a bit more panel work. And it's not the thing, not really the thing that I'm good at. So I'm a bit afraid I'm going to stretch it, actually. Anyway, I've been messing around with that too, and I've got another coat of undercoat on it and a bit of a sand back, and we'll have a bit of a look at it. Maybe this weekend I'll get it finished. Offered to do a sign or a job for Fridge too, but that hasn't happened yet, Fridge. I got sidetracked with the Jolly Lubricator and shopping. Bondo will probably do it, Gary. That's about as good as it's going to get, I think. I don't think I'm going to get it perfect. It's certainly a lot less beat up than it was. And it's square again and all that sort of stuff. And it's flat on top. So I think it'll be all right. But you put shiny paint on it, all that's going to show up. Take care, Matt. Paddy, I imagine where this was out in the bush, it was probably the only thing in visible distance to anyone who might have happened to have a rifle or a shotgun, and that's why it got shot at. You can't shoot at trees and animals when there isn't any. Anyway, so that's another job that I'm working on. There's a few sign writing jobs. My sign box never ever got the door painted. I never finished that last year. And I should have, but I ran out of purple paint and they've only just got it back in stock, and I've actually got a tube of purple sign writing enamel. So I might get that finished too at some point very soon. And I'd like to get on the brushes. There's a few jobs that I could like to do. There's a question for the Brains Trust while we're here. I have a fair bit of this sort of artwork. Holy crap, I don't know if you can see that. We'll move this back. On my walls, right? Which is fun. But this is 7mm plywood. And it's kind of cool. But I was attaching it to the wall. I'm going to ignore that question, Kevin. We'll get to it in a minute. But I was hanging them up with these 3M Velcro strips, right, which are good, but they eventually lose their tack and fall off, which is a bit of upsetting in the middle of the night. So has anyone got an idea how I can hang these up permanently without putting like screw sockets and screws in the wall so that they don't fall down? Because this is only a fairly small sign compared to some of the stuff that I've got on my walls. That is the 3D removable stuff, and it falls off, Craig. Oh, we're talking about 3/4 of the wall space in 2 rooms, so there's a lot of them. I want them to come up eventually, because if I ever move, I want to take them with me. Blue tack's not going to do it. French cleat would be really, really nice. It's probably not going to happen either at this point. Some sort of picture frame wall would be nice too, but then they kind of scratch against the wall when the washing machine's going, that sort of thing. So if anyone's got any ideas, I'm thinking probably I'm just going to screw them to the wall, which is probably as good as any, but probably the easiest way is to put a picture frame around and then machine wooden angled cleats to hang them on. Don't know. I'm thinking about it. Wire picture framing systems are really expensive, so you know. So that's a bit of a problem. Now, a lot of them are standing on their end on the floor at the moment. That's where we're at with it, against the wall. I've got a few up, but I really want to hang pictures up, because there's another picture which is a nice poster which fell off the wall yesterday too, which is a bit of a problem. That was held up with the same things. Pretty cool poster actually. How cool is this? Yeah, I'm open to all suggestions, and thanks, Richard. And we probably better do something. I've got a few of these. This is a vintage poster from September 1988, Great Dorset Steam Fair. I've got a lot of pretty cool posters like this, and this is framed up, and it's only a cheap Target frame, so it's got plastic in it. So it didn't do any damage when I dropped it, but I wouldn't like to hang this up with glass on it with those 3M things because they tend to let go over time. Adults £5. And it looks like it did get caught here because there's something scratched here, but anyway. I think it got cancelled this year, Gary. I did see that Great Dorset Steam Fair was cancelled. Oh, it's worth the flight, I think, and I would like to do it. It's miles from anywhere. I'll get Alistair to take me. Now, if you're on Facebook or Twitter, there is a Twitter Steam show. Gosh, has someone got the links for that? There's a hashtag for it. Twitter Steam something. Tom's onto it. I did include him in the group, but that's a pretty good show for when you're staying at home. So go and check that out over Twitter Steam Rally, 9th of May, which is this weekend. But Craig's not on Twitter or Facebook, so he's not going anyway. But Twitter Steam Rally is the hashtag. It's worth chasing up because there seem to be a pretty good bunch of guys, and there's a lot of good content there. It's going to be a fun weekend on there, I think. It is an open group, so you can just look. Fridge is onto it too. I would like to get to the UK at some point. I really would. I don't know when. I don't know what's happening there. No, I'm not going anywhere this year, and I'm probably not going anywhere next year. I'm spending money on things like die maker stones and reamers and stuff. It's probably I'm not going anywhere. But he doesn't even know what he wants to imagine about that. Yeah, that's right. It's the steam rally you go to when you can't go to a steam rally. So there you go. Now, a little while back, I picked up another camera. I'm just looking here at the bench. A while ago, I picked up another camera. This is the one I've had for quite some considerable time and has been sort of all over the world. And this one here is the new one. I've had it a little while and I've used it a bit. Yeah, I'm not going there this year, promise. Anyway, Is anyone interested in a camera review video? Because I don't know anything about cameras, but I get asked all the time if I like GoPro. I think I shot it on the 7. Okay, well, I might make a video because there are some reasons why if you've got a 7, you probably shouldn't buy an 8. And there are probably reasons why if you buy an 8, you probably shouldn't downgrade. And there are some features on the 8 that are really, really good and some that I'm wondering about. Both have got really good build quality and they both look the same, but they're not. So Gary says, not really. That's fair enough. Absolutely fair enough. And it's not a video to everyone's taste, but I might make just a comparison video, except I haven't got a camera to shoot them on. To my mind, I like the 7 more than I like the 8. And tactile, and it's a little bit lighter, I think, and it's a little bit smarter. The 8's waterproof on its own right, probably more so than the 7. And see, the 5 and the 6, I think you still had to have a cage, a waterproof tank to put it in, but these are waterproof, and the 8's probably more so than the 7. But the 8 has some other interesting quirks that none of the others have. Maddie, yeah, SD cards, they like fast SD cards in good condition, so you format them pretty regularly and format them in the camera, and then they preserve their date range, because mine went back to 2016 and then I had to spend an inordinate amount of time trying to work out why all my videos were dated from January 2016 in the middle of 2019. Gear to do it, don't start with that. Start with a mobile phone. There you go. That's what I think if you're making videos. These are great. Like, they're really good cameras. And I'm getting used to them and I like them. This is a 7 and it requires a cage to mount it because there's no actual mounting system on it. This is an 8. This has its own mounting system, a GoPro mounting system on the bottom, which is part of the case. So it doesn't require a cage. And it won't go in a cage because it's a different size. It's a bit bigger, and I guess that's probably why they've done that. If you go down the GoPro path, get some batteries and a decent charger as well. Yep. So this is kind of all right. I don't particularly like the door, which is waterproof. It's got like rubber mount and everything around it and seals. And it's probably more durable than this one, which is much easier to use. This has got a separate metal door with rubber mount on it and a battery door on the bottom. So they put it all in one. And anyway, I might make a video. We'll see. If I run out of things to make videos about, I might do that. They probably are extremely expensive. There are also dedicated cameras or a tax deduction for a YouTube channel. So if you're going down that route, it's probably worth making the effort to do that if you're declaring any income. Um, yeah, I've got 3 extra batteries, something like that, and get the biggest ones you possibly can. The GoPro 8 battery is bigger again than the GoPro 7 battery, which is bigger than the GoPro 6 battery. The theory is, yeah, good. That's good, Tom. You claim it, absolutely. Get it back. The theory is that I can set one up on the DRO and one up on the mill. And when I come back over the lathe, I've only got to dismount one rather than both of them because it's a bit of a pain. And I've been shooting some footage on the mill and then some footage on the lathe when I'm backwards and forwards because setting up the camera takes more time than actually setting up the job. Paddy doesn't declare income. That's cool. Craig's right. I think autofocus is good on paper, but manual focus is the way to go. This phone struggles with it. Now, yeah, it's going in and out, and if I do this, it doesn't help, does it? I just know I claim back a lot more than I declare, so it's sort of, I think I come out in front. Now, Kevin asked a question, right, about pantograph engraver. Where was that headed, Kevin? That was a while back. I said I'd ignore it, but I wasn't. The problem with the pantograph engraver is that it's a bit worn out. Yeah, this pantograph engraver thing keeps coming up. It's a project that's on its way, and it's a project I need some of these things I'm making for. But it needs some backlash prevention. Not at this point. I think at some point I would like to be able to do that, Kevin, but at this point, no. If you want really tiny plaques, here's the secret to this. If you can find a offset printer, someone who actually does offset printing or makes rubber stamps, do your artwork and do it in reverse and take it into them and get them to make a printer's block, which is an aluminium substrate with a rubber top on it. And from there, make a silicon rubber mold and cast them in lead or alloy of some sort, because they'll be the best and most accurate detail tiny plates that you'll ever get. There you go. What are you mentioning, John? Yeah, just don't spend money on camera gear. Oh, the CNC word's great. Oh, there's Andy Ash. Good day. But just get a camera, or just get a phone and go for it, because you'll get better pictures out of whatever excuse you have to buy a new telephone than you will out of buying a GoPro that requires a fair bit of messing with to to get it to perform how you would like it to. But yeah, CNC is good, and if you can make a CNC video that we'll watch, it's more than welcome in the competition, if that was your question. If it wasn't, that's the answer. Good content and audio are way more important than picture quality equipment. That's right. Now, the GoPro doesn't have anywhere to hook in an external microphone, and the way I generally film, it's 6 inches from where I'm talking, so it's not really as big an issue as it could be. But if you're putting it on the wall and looking into it and filming, you're going to end up with mixed results without an external microphone. But the pantograph engraver is set up and it's been running, and it's not too bad, and it does reasonable work, but there is some backlash, so you end up with a double strike line if you go back over something from the opposite direction. And the reason for that is that all the joints in the pantograph arms have got straight bushes in them, and they're a bit worn. I don't think anyone's ever oiled them, and they've probably been full of grit for a long time. So I'm working on that. And probably the reason you're getting bouncy focus is that I'm scrolling through the comments and it's trying to focus and not focus and focus and not focus when I move my finger on the same screen. It's got straight bushes and shoulder screws, hard shoulder screws in the pantograph, and I would like to put tapered bushes, like something very similar to what the indicator holder I just made has in it, because that'll center itself and it'll take out any backlash. So that's the system I've got in mind, and I've sort of got something sketched out in my head, but that's as far as it's got, because I really would like to get that going. And Bluetooth mic's probably pretty good. I don't know if you can get a Bluetooth mic for the GoPro. I've never ever really messed around with it. I'm yet to try live streaming with the GoPro 8 yet. I believe it's a bit better than the GoPro 7, but I haven't tried it. Anyway, it's pushing 10 o'clock here, so I might call it. Thanks for tuning in the chat. Stefan does that, Tommy. I think he externally records and then syncs it later in post. But it's nice if you've got time and you're that sort of person, but I'm not. So most of it just gets recorded off, and then I cut out all the ums and difficult things and cuss words and politically incorrect stuff and nasty references to people I don't like, and upload it. That's kind of how I go. But anyway, I'd like to get my editing up a bit faster and a bit better, and I'd like to see all you guys do it, and that's why we hold a competition. And looking forward to seeing your video, Andy Ash, in the competition. Yours too, Tom. Yours, Ted, absolutely. Who else? Craig, looking forward to seeing your video. No pressure, any of you, but absolutely do it. John Creasy, looking forward to yours as well. Have a great week. I'll hopefully have I didn't put a video up this last week, and I apologize for that, but it just didn't happen. And hopefully I'll have this lubricator finished and installed and looking like something by this weekend, and we might have a video about that. So I'm out. Take care, and more soon. Christensen Machine Works for that brass. And who else? There's a video about the tool making competition. So if you haven't seen that, go and watch it. And thanks to all my new subscribers. I appreciate that. So be kind to each other. And more soon. I'm out.